Whenever it comes to use malloc in programming with C, I typecast the malloc function. This is something I do for quite a while, but never questioned it until now. I learned that doing so is considered bad programming practice by some in the C community, and for me a reason to talk about it. Welcome to myCTalkthroughs. The malloc function allocates a chunk of memory. The function returns the memory chunk's address as a type void pointer. Somewhere along the line, I started typecasting the malloc function to match the data type of its pointer assignment. So if in this example here, I show you, if in this example, yada 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 is a pointer, I do something like this. To a character pointer, I typecast malloc 1024. So the statement allocates 1024 bytes as a buffer and assigns its address to the character pointer yada yada. The character pointer type, so this expression here is a typecast, and it transforms the void pointer into a character pointer for the assignment. Nevertheless, this typecast is unnecessary in the C programming language. Probably I read that typecasting the return value of malloc was strongly suggested. I forgot the specifics. Maybe I started typecasting malloc out of a habit. Then I learned that it is considered as bad programming practice, though even this opinion is debated. First, in the C++ language, typecasting malloc is mandatory. Due to the crossover of C and C++ material, this could be the reason why I started typecasting malloc at all. I read some C code somewhere written by a C++ programmer who just typecasts malloc for reasons in one language, and that is not required in the other. Second, the thing that offends some C programmers the most is that by typecasting malloc, you run the risk of improperly identifying the function. In this sense, typecasting works like a mask. When any function is typecast, the compiler may not bother looking up its definition by checking a prototype. I'm unsure of the specifics, but even on this point, I see a lot of back and forth between C experts. Let me show you the following code here. First, I want to comment this out and copy the code in here. So I typecast here malloc without including the standard library header. That was necessary so because it is where the function's prototype exists. As I know, many versions of Clang or GCC throw an error here. If I compile that, it compiles totally fine, but gives me a warning here in the build log, that there in the build messages, no, in the build log, which tells me about an implicit declaration of function malloc here, and a note that I shall include standard lib.h and a warning that there is an incompatibility found. Anyway, it does compile and work, but I know also that in the min.gw compiler the program builds also, and it also generates some warning, but just like with Clang and GCC here, the malloc function requires standard lib.h header file, but the program builds anyway, and it runs. This result is why some programmers caution against typecasting the malloc function. So it isn't what I consider an unforgivable sin and breaking the 11th commandment, you shall not typecast malloc. Yet I'll try to avoid it, but I also feel it's an overreaction to say that typecasting malloc is bad programming practice. Given the errors and warning generated by modern compilers, I'd say typecasting malloc isn't bad, just unnecessary and easily avoidable.